Good morning, y'all. It's JoJo, and it appears that the Chilean County Sheriff's Office has finally found Travis Decker. The manhunt is now over, according to the Sheriff's Department. So, if you remember correctly, Travis Decker was the one that was accused of his three beautiful daughters. As you see here, there was Peyton, Olivia, and Evelyn. So stick around while we dive into what exactly happened and where they found him.
The content you are about to watch contains the subject matter of a real-life true crime event. Therefore, it is not suitable for all ages and is only intended for adults.
Okay, y'all, we're going to start off with this article right here from BBC. This was posted just 2 hours ago. Human remains believed to be of a man wanted on suspicion of red rumming his three daughters, aged 9, 8, and 5, have been found in the U.S. state of Washington. Police have been searching for Travis Decker since officers found his phone and bodies of his girls, Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia, in a remote campground on 2nd of June. His truck was also found nearby. While positive identification has not yet been confirmed, preliminary findings suggest the remains belong to Travis Decker, Chilean County Sheriff's Office said on Thursday in a statement. The remains were discovered in a remote wooded area south of the town of Leavenworth in Washington state. Officials said Decker, 32, was wanted on kidnapping and first-degree red rum charges, according to Washington's Wenatchee Police Department. And officials believed he had been hidden in a remote part of the mountains and wooded state. I wonder how long he actually did survive out there before, we'll have to see what actually happened when the ME's report comes back. What do y'all think? Do you think that he actually took his own life, or do you think he succumbed to the elements? Do you think maybe he met with foul play while he was out there, or possibly wildlife ended up getting him while he was out on the run? Put down your thoughts down there in the comment box for me. Let me know what y'all are thinking. The girl's mother reported them missing on the 30th of May after Decker failed to return his daughters to her home in Wenatchee, Washington following a visit. He also did not take her phone calls. They passed from apparent suffocation, and their wrists had been bound with zip ties, authorities said, according to BBC's U.S. partner CBS News. Decker was an ex-soldier and may have gone to mountain survival school as part of his military training, officials said. It sounds like at times he would go out and would be off-grid for sometimes up to 2.5 months, Sheriff Morrison said after speaking to Decker's family. The remains were found on Thursday on Grindstone Mountain, a few miles from where Decker's daughters' bodies were found in June, reports CBS's local news partner, KIRO-TV. A $20,000 reward had been announced by the U.S. Marshal Service for information leading to Decker's capture. The search had caused widespread closures of national forests popular among hikers in the area. So he probably never even really left that area. So it kind of makes me wonder how long after unaliving his girls, if he was the one who actually did it, being that that's allegedly, how long after that happened was he unalived? What are y'all's thoughts? Let me know down there in the comment box, because if you watch some of my prior videos, you will see that I had some differing opinions as to the theories out there on whether or not Decker did this, or if there could have possibly been another party involved. So I still hold out judgment, waiting on what comes back from the ME's office. Now that they found him, if it is truly him, because they still do not know 100% for sure, not until they get the actual official notice, but they say preliminary reports do say that this is Decker. So let's move on to the next article. Remains believed to belong to Travis Decker, accused of raping three daughters. Human remains believed to belong to Travis Decker, the Washington man accused of killing his three daughters, have been found, according to authorities. While positive identification has not yet been confirmed, preliminary findings suggest the remains belong to Travis Decker, the Chilean County Sheriff's Office said. The remains were located in a remote wooded area south of the town of Leavenworth, Washington, department officials added. Oh, and one more thing real quick. Don't forget, please hit that subscribe and notification bell if you're new here. And make sure to like this video, please, so that we can continue to put more stories out like this and keep up to date on them. The Chelan County Sheriff's Office says it is currently processing the scene with the assistance of the Washington State Patrol Crime Scene Response Team to be followed up with DNA analysis. Oh, I can't wait to see that DNA analysis. Travis Decker accused of red rumming 3 daughters. Decker had been on the run for more than 3 months after he was accused of red rumming his 3 daughters, 9-year-old Peyton, 8-year-old Evelyn, and 5-year-old Olivia, in early June. Their bodies were found at the Rock Island campground in Chelan County, Washington, after Decker picked them up for a planned visitation. Police believe the girls died from asphyxiation, and they were found with their wrists zip-tied, court documents said. At the time of their disappearance, a detective said the girl's mother expressed concern because Decker reportedly has never done this before and is currently experiencing some mental health issues. I'm going to go ahead and play this little clip right here. It's not too awful long. It's only 4.5 minutes. So go ahead and sit right back and let's watch this video together.
And new details in the case of the Washington man accused of killing his 3 daughters. As newly released court audio reveals, 32-year-old Travis Decker losing overnight custody of his daughters due to concerns he had them sleeping in an armory.
We've never done anything that was unsafe or anything I wouldn't want to put myself in. I understand that my current position when I'm by myself isn't ideal, but my daughters aren't a part of that. I only get to see them over the weekends, and camping is something that the 4 of us have done since the 3 of them were in diapers. I've never done anything I feel like that puts.
To be perfectly honest, I used to go camping with my parents all the time. So, I mean, I don't see going camping as a family really anything wrong with that. And I actually found out later on as an adult that when I was a little girl, we spent a whole summer out on the beach camping. I didn't know it back then, but we were actually homeless at that point, and it didn't bother me one bit. But then again, I was with both my mother and father at the time, and they took care of me. They kept me safe, so I don't really see the harm in the girls going camping with him. But if he was having a mental break, now that's another thing.
Them in any sort of a risk.
Authorities say Decker allegedly suffocated his 3 daughters, Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia, during a scheduled visit May 30th. Their bodies found near his vehicle at a campsite with their wrists bound. The Sheriff's Department releasing these photos on how he could potentially alter his appearance as he remains on the run. This manhunt nearly at the 3-week mark. So I would like to welcome back to News Nation Now, Sheriff Michael Morrison. Sheriff, thank you so much for your time. What is the latest on the investigation? Is there a clear idea of where Decker could be?
Yeah, good afternoon. Thanks for having me on. So we do have our teams out there still working with the U.S. Marshals Service, which has taken lead on the search efforts as we work to supplement with them on any additional resources they need. Our primary focus has just remained on the investigation, but we are tracking down leads. We know that we've really appreciated Kittitas County Sheriff's Office. It's just to the south of us that have come on, followed up on some leads, searched in the areas of Liberty and Teanaway. We also reinserted our search and rescue team and other units up into the encampments here yesterday. And we're continuing to follow those leads. But as for a specific location, we just don't have that right now.
And so we have these newly released images showing ways that he may have altered his appearance. So is he possibly hiding in plain sight?
So this is the much older one.
I mean, if there's a possibility that he's getting out into society, I do believe that our marshals have the technology and the leads that would be necessary to identify him once he got out there. We're still going to continue to follow up on everything we do get coming in from the public. We appreciate the assistance they've been providing to us. But again, we recognize too that, I mean, he can change his appearance just based off what we've seen from some of the photos we provided out. And we're trying to do everything possible to make sure that all the information we have and potentials the way he could look are out there and available to the community that's assisting us and continuing to assist us.
Do you think he's getting help, Sheriff?
I'm not quite sure. I mean, you're certainly looking at the potential that he could have staged some supplies beforehand. There's some that may be sympathetic to his cause, which I think would be misguided. I mean, he's accused of not just once, but 3 times, and he is a danger. So, I mean, for those that might have sympathy towards him, please allow the opportunity for us to do our job, set up that opportunity for him to be in front of our courts And if he has different information he'd like to present and he thinks there's a way that he could clear his name, let's go through the proper channels. But as far as we can see it, he's still our suspect of interest. He's the subject we want to take into custody. And we want to set up that meeting where he can stand in front of our courts and speak his side of the story.
And he does have military training. You said, he may have set some stuff up ahead of time.
I totally agree with what that sheriff said, that yeah, you can have sympathy for somebody like that, but you also need to make sure that they are put in front of the courts and that they do go through the proper process to clear themselves. You don't want to hide somebody like that just because you think, oh, well, it's impossible that this person could have done something like this because of who they are and everything. They may be innocent, but let them go through the proper channels and let them actually go through the court system and let them clear themselves. Don't hide them, because hiding them, it's going to get yourself in trouble and it's going to make things even worse for them in the long run.
What does each passing day potentially, how does that complicate the manhunt?
Just gives further distance, but this isn't the first time that our region's been faced with a manhunt. Similar to this, we had one a couple years ago here in Kittitas County, south of us, that lasted 21 days. And then, I was also talking with one of the former FBI agents, currently one of our sheriffs here in Washington State, who had worked the Eric Rudolph case. And for those who don't remember, that was the suspect for the 96 Olympic bombing, and that lasted 5 years. There was a search area that was similar to ours up in the mountains of Northwest North Carolina. And so we're in it for the long haul if need be, but clearly we recognize that when we miss the windows that we're getting every single day, that it's just going to make the search probably go longer.
And Sheriff, do you think he will be brought in alive?
That is our hope. That's ultimately up to him. But we would like him to have his chance to sit in front of our judges and to face justice. And we want to make sure that Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia's voices are heard, their story is heard, and that their is faced with justice.
Okay, so who is Travis Decker, Washington dad accused of red rumming 3 daughters? Before his daughters' unalivings, Decker had lost overnight custody over concerns the girls were sleeping in an armory under his watch, courtroom audio revealed. But to be perfectly honest, I don't blame Whitney one bit for not wanting her daughters to be sleeping in an armory with a bunch of people that she did not know. There's no telling who could be in that armory at night. I would be nervous too. It would be one thing if they were staying at a motel or if they were staying at a campground with dad. That's something totally different, but staying in an armory to where you're just like out in the open on cots or something like that with a bunch of other men around that you don't really know? No. A former Army soldier, Decker was homeless and would sleep in his vehicle, motels, and campgrounds, according to police. Travis Decker's DNA found at site of his daughter's red rums. Officials said DNA matching Decker and his 3 daughters were the only profiles found at the scene of the girls' red rums. It was also found near his truck at the scene, authorities said. Once I found out that there was DNA matching only him and his daughters found on material that was on the girls during the red rumming, that's when I kind of turned my whole thought process around that, yeah, maybe he was actually the one who did this. But there's still that possibility out there that maybe somebody forced him into doing it. I don't know. I wasn't there. You weren't there. The only ones that know the truth, unfortunately, are possibly all deceased now. So I really don't know how we're going to get our exact answers now. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know down there in the comment section. Do you think I'm just completely wacko for even thinking that there's a possibility, even the slightest possibility, that he was not 100% responsible for this? I don't mind. Go ahead, call me wacko. Maybe I just have a soft spot for veterans. I have a lot of veterans in the family. And while I know that being in the military and actually being out there and on the ground, you see a lot of things that the normal person doesn't. It changes your mind. It can cause a lot of mental issues. I've actually seen it firsthand. But that's the reason why they're supposed to have things in place that when you do get home, if you have those issues, you're supposed to be able to get help for them. And that's what makes me so mad about it. He went down multiple times trying to get help, and then he just basically got the shaft. They turned their back on him. So you fight for our country, you fight for our freedoms, you put your life on the line, but hey, you need help. Yeah, come back in a few more days or a few more months, and maybe we'll be able to help you. Or maybe we'll just give you the runaround one more time. It makes me so angry that that's the way that our veterans get treated. It's not right. But I gotta move on. I gotta quit talking about that. We know positively that all of the DNA samples recovered belong to the same male subject, who we believe is Mr. Decker, said Dan Osmit, Chelan County Sheriff's Office undersheriff. It's the first time I heard of an undersheriff before. Interesting. Is that kind of like a pre-sheriff or a deputy, maybe? Moving on. Travis Decker potential sightings while on the run. While on the run, several potential sightings of Decker were provided to police. Days after he went missing, a tip came in from hikers who spotted a lone hiker who seemed to be very ill prepared for the trail. Authorities also said he was seen running from a helicopter. Y'all remember that? I know I remember that. That was all over the news. And they tried to track him down, and then I think they lost his trail or something like that. They never did find him. At least not that one. They did find another one that was another possible tip and turned out not to be Decker. It was at a different location, though. U.S. Marshals got another tip July 5th from a family that claimed they have seen a person in the Bear Creek area of the Sawtooth National Forest. The description of the individual was consistent with that of Decker. That was probably the other one. The family also reported that the person didn't want to make eye contact and didn't respond when trying to strike up a conversation. However, the trail went cold, and the sheriff's office said for weeks that it was unsure whether Decker was alive or unalive. Bones found during search for Travis Decker. Last month, bones were discovered by FBI agents at the campground where Decker allegedly red-rummed his 3 daughters. The FBI had closed the campground to continue the search for Decker. A total of 100 law enforcement officers were brought in to look for items related to the girls' red-rums. However, those bones were determined to be non-human. Further updates on the discovery of Decker's possible remains are expected Friday. Wait, today is Friday. So does that mean a week from today? I'm going to take a educated guess on that they're talking about a week from today. So next Friday, being that, let's see, this article well, it doesn't say when it was published, but it says it was updated this morning at 5:30 a.m. Central Time. I don't see a published, let's see if we see a published date. No, I'm not seeing an actual published date. So they're not telling us when it was actually published. They just tell us when it was updated. So I'm just going to take an educated guess here and say that they're talking about next Friday, because I know it takes some time for DNA results to come back. They're not like the movies. They don't come back within a couple of minutes. So we're going to move on to our next article here. And this one's NBC News. Remains believed to be of Washington father accused of red-rumming 3 daughters are found. Authorities have been searching for Travis Decker since he failed to return his 3 daughters to their mother, and their bodies were found on June 2nd. And this was from September 19th, which is today. It says 12 a.m. Eastern, so right at midnight they put this article out. Remains believed to be those of the Washington State man suspected of red-rumming his 3 young daughters were found this week in a remote area, authorities said Thursday. Preliminary findings suggest the remains are those of Travis Decker, 32, whom authorities have been searching for more than 3 months. The remains were found south of the town of Leavenworth during a search, the Chelan County Sheriff's Office said. Okay, y'all, I'm going to do this short little add-on video as I was going through editing the video to upload it to y'all. I did notice something in one of the articles that I was going through and editing. The one from NBC News, they mentioned in here that the remains were found south of the town of Leavenworth during a search. And they're saying that the Chelan County Sheriff's Office said that. Now, I tried to actually find the press release that the Sheriff's Office put out. I have not been able to find it, and I'm kind of in a time crunch here trying to finish editing this video in order to get it out to y'all at least by tonight. I've been working on editing it all day long today. I actually had done the video this morning. I had did 4 articles, which I think I'm going to be cutting it down to probably only like 2 or 3 in order to save on upload time as well. But either way, that's neither here nor there. You guys will be finding that out here in a minute anyway, once you watch the video. But I wanted to go ahead and show the map here. And I also did find out when I went to go do some digging that there was a press conference about 1 hour ago that I'm going to be making a video on as well. So I'm going to be putting out a second video too after this one's done uploading. So be looking forward to that too. But right here you can see this is Google Maps. Okay, so here, let me get this out of the way for y'all. All right. We got Leavenworth is right here. And this here is the Rock Island campground. This was where the girls were found along with Decker's truck. This is Grindstone Mountain. Now, this was in the very first article that I ended up reading it to y'all. That was the only one that I had found this morning at the time when I had made the video that said an actual location where the remains were found that they believe are Decker's remains. So that is what I was assuming was the place where they found the remains. Now, if you look... And I used to be a truck driver, so I can read a map, okay? And I'm assuming most of you out there watching this video right now can read this map just fine as well. Okay, so of course, this is going to be your north right here. This is your south, and this is your east. Or, I'm sorry, this is... yeah, here I am saying I know how to read a map. This is your west. And this is your east. Okay, so here's Leavenworth. Now, if you look over here to find Grindstone Mountain, it is to the west and north a little bit. And in the NBC News article, they're saying that the sheriff's office said that the remains were found south of the town of Leavenworth, which is over here. So if we were to go south of Leavenworth, yeah, there's no Grindstone Mountain here. And I did see a couple other articles when I was searching real quick, just skimming around, and I did find this here. All right, and this right here even says that a photo showing Travis Decker with the Cheddar Creek campground area in the background. This remote area of Grindstone Mountain is where the human remains believed to be Travis Decker were found on September 18th, 2025, and that was Como/Wenatchee Police Department. And now we go on to the next one. This is Como again, a bird's eye view of the law enforcement command post set up near Grindstone Mountain where the search for Travis Decker took place. So if Como's going out and they're taking all of these pictures, they're the ones boots on the ground, then they must know where it is that all this action is happening. So I'm going to tend to go more towards believing that it is Grindstone Mountain where the remains were found. I'm going to look into it some more, but I just wanted to put out this quick add-on video just to put in place over by where NBC News does state that in their article, because obviously somebody had a misprint somewhere, and I just wanted to get the, well, I can't really say facts because I haven't seen anything actually official on it yet, but doing some quick digging, being that I want to get this video out and I still got to finish editing it so that I can get it uploaded. I wanted to get some kind of data to back it up other than just one article. So here we've got multiple things, not just this that I'm showing you right here, right now, but there are also other articles that I seen when I was just skimming real quickly that they said the same thing, that have come out throughout the day, that it is Grindstone Mountain where the remains were found that they believe to be Decker's remains. So take it with a grain of salt if you want. I mean, that's totally up to you. But in my opinion, I'm going to go with Grindstone Mountain is where the remains ended up being located. So we're going to go ahead, head back to the article now. A DNA analysis will be done, the official said. 3 weeks into the manhunt, authorities issued a lengthy statement casting doubt on whether Decker, a military veteran and National Guardsman, whom the local sheriff described as a longtime outdoorsman, remained alive. Officials said resources had been shifted to focus on finding Decker's remains, presuming the likelihood of his unalive increased every day. On June 10th, officials said they believed they had tracked Decker to an area near the remote campsite where his daughters were found unalive days earlier, roughly 130 miles east of Seattle. The Tulane County Sheriff's Office said in a news release that the person was spotted by helicopter after a hiking party reported seeing someone who appeared unprepared for the trail and the weather and appeared to be avoiding others. The sheriff's office said the person ran from sight, but was later tracked with dogs to a nearby trailhead. Look at them girls. They're just so beautiful and precious. Such a shame that their lives were taken so brutally at such a young age. Decker, whom his ex-wife described to authorities as homeless and experiencing mental health issues, had a planned visitation with their daughters a few days before their bodies were found. When Decker did not return, the girls and his ex-wife, Whitney Decker, could not reach him by phone. She filed a complaint that day with Wenatchee police, prompting a search that lasted through the weekend. Evelyn 8, Peyton 9, and Olivia Decker 5 were found June 2nd near a campground where they also discovered Travis Decker's white pickup truck. They had been zip-tied and had plastic bags over their heads. A Wenatchee police detective wrote in an affidavit in support of an arrest warrant. A preliminary examination found that they most likely passed of asphyxiation, the detective wrote. Travis Decker's unoccupied white pickup was found nearby with 2 bloody handprints on its tailgate, according to the affidavit. Whitney and Travis Decker were married for 7 years, but divorced several years ago, according to the affidavit. Whitney Decker told the detective her ex-husband had always been communicative about their children and previously returned them when he was supposed to. A parenting plan in effect since September 2024 required him to seek mental health treatment and DV anger management counseling, but he had not done so, the affidavit said. Okay, so I didn't know about that part. I mean, I knew that he needed to seek mental health treatment, but I didn't know that he had to do the DV anger management counseling. I don't recall that anyway, not right now. I might have learned it. It's not triggering anything in the brain right now. It's still early, y'all. A copy of the parenting plan shows that Travis Decker refused to sign it. They were still basing everything off of the new parenting plan when everything happened, so I'm assuming that it was still pushed through by the judge even though Decker refused to sign it, so I'm assuming it still can be pushed through. In the days after her girls were found unalive, Whitney Decker called for reforms to the Amber Alert system, which sends out text messages to all cell phones in areas where missing children have been reported. Local police sought to have an alert set out the Friday before they were found unalive, but the agency that manages the program in Washington State declined to do so. I thought that they did send out some kind of alert. It just wasn't an Amber Alert because they didn't consider all the criteria met for an Amber Alert, but I thought that they did send out some kind of alert. I'll have to look back on that. A spokesman for the Washington State Patrol said the request did not meet strict criteria set by the U.S. Justice Department. A different alert sent that Saturday accomplished much the same public notification outreach as an Amber Alert would have, he said. Whitney Decker spoke publicly about her daughter's red rummings for the first time in late June, and it was rough. I remember watching that. They were incredible, she told a crowd of thousands of mourners. I truly hope that the legacy of the girls' lives lives in everyone's hearts. And that's the end of this article, and that's a rather fitting ending. Do you think that they actually do have Travis Decker's remains? What do you think that the results are going to come back with? Do you think it's him? And if it's not him, where do you think he could be? You think he's still out there? Do you think he's still alive? Put your thoughts down there in the comment for me. I do go through and I do read all my comments. As you can see on my other videos, I do answer them. If anything, I will at least give it a like and let you know that I did see it. But I do read all my comments. I am interested in knowing what all y'all think out there. One more thing before we do go. Don't forget, if you're new, hit that subscribe button and make sure you turn your bell notifications to all. I haven't been putting out as many videos lately as I had in the past. Things have been rather chaotic around here, to say the least. And those of you who have read my post over in the community section know that I've been dealing with a lot lately. My father, for those of you that read the post, he came through surgery just fine, no complications or anything. So thank you everybody for all your prayers and thoughts and well wishes. I really do appreciate that. And he seems to be doing okay now, although he's driving my mother absolutely bonkers because he can't do anything. So he's going stir crazy already, but I'm very grateful that he's doing okay and everything went great. Aside from that, I'm getting back on the saddle again, and I should be getting back into making videos again. I actually wasn't even going to put out a video today. I was going to wait until next week to start putting videos back out again, but I seen that they possibly found Travis Decker's remains, and yeah, I couldn't resist. I had to jump on here and let y'all know what I seen. Although I know that there's probably going to be a lot of other creators out there that are going to be jumping on and letting y'all know about it, but I just had to, being that I've been following this case ever since the beginning, and this was something that was very important to me. I wanted to make sure that I got out there, and I made a video for y'all this morning. But anyway, with that being said, I am hoping to be back again next week, putting out videos on a more regular basis again. I have been deep diving, and when I say deep diving, I mean really deep diving on the timeline and trying to unravel all of the inconsistencies and work through them all on the timeline of the Jack and Lily case. So I've been kind of focusing on that one, while I'm still kind of keeping my ear out for what's going on with Emmanuel Haro and other cases out there in the public. I've also been looking into what's going on with Liam King, and there's a couple other cases too that I've been kind of keeping my eye on a little bit, but I've mainly been focusing right now on the Jack and Lily case because I've got the court documents and I've been deep diving into those. And so I do plan on starting to put more videos out on a regular basis. With that being said, I am going to let you all go for now because I have a lot of work to still do. And let's just pray for justice for Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia. And I will catch y'all on the flip side. Y'all stay safe out there, stay happy, and bye-bye, y'all.